Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I thought I'd just speak to you today about going back to an old job, returning to a former employer. As you all know, if you watched my first video, in May of this year I decided to leave my 9-to-5 job to return to a former employer. I did this for a part-time contract, which I am currently still at. And I did this so that I could provide my income a bit of support while trying to build a business. And so while the bills are paid every month, the new job that I've gone back to is providing me the financial backing to pay the bills each month, to feed me and my partner. She's working as well, so she's providing endless opportunities for me in this season, and I'm very grateful for her and all the hard work that she puts in. But yeah, I just wanted to talk on whether you should go back to a former employer. You see a lot of people say, don't ever go back to your old employer, don't ever return to a prior job, because, reasons X, Y, Z, changes, it won't be the same. There may be resentment from other employees or new employees that perceive you as green when you've actually worked in the industry before, etc. And funnily enough, that is actually my experience. So during lockdown, just to give you a background, I got made redundant from an office job, and I found employment quickly after at my local retailer, so a retail store on a business park, and it's an automotive retailer, quite important, or not important, but quite a big name in the UK at least. And when I went here initially, during the lockdown, obviously you couldn't go out, you couldn't do anything fun, and so I welcomed this opportunity with wide open arms. I learned everything I could. I got all of the experts to share their knowledge with me. I gained very, very useful knowledge and experience within the matter of months, and was quickly bumped up to a supervisor role there. Having been working previously towards something in the geographical field, this was quite a nice change of pace. And I really enjoyed the fact that each day was different. You had a fantastic team of very competent individuals around you, sharing their knowledge, sharing their expertise, allowing you to learn. That's a massive thing for me, learning, constant learning. That's what I want to do. It's it's Kaizen, isn't it? Constant improvement. And so my initial experiences here were amazing. I made good friends, some of which I have to this day. I learned a lot. I had fun. I enjoyed my work. I got up every day with no hesitation, jumped up, grabbed the keys to unlock the store, opened up, and I was loving life. Come 2 years down the line, I started to find myself stagnating a little bit. There wasn't so much for me to learn anymore. And my colleagues who were the most experienced started peeling off to do other things, as is standard with retail, especially at the moment. Because of this, I started looking for opportunities myself, and I found employment in a energy management company who do all manner of different things regarding to energy, but it is energy and not environmental, as I was initially sort of made to believe. And while I had some fun there, I had a good setup with the actual job contract. It was mostly remote, although there was a hybrid element. I had to go in once a week or thereabouts, but I could pick and choose because I was part of a smaller team, which was based elsewhere, so I didn't have to go to the office. But within the office and within the company, I had very, very good relationships with a lot of different people there over the 2 years I worked there. After experiencing some setbacks in life, personal losses close to me, I started to grieve. And this grief, because I was at home more often than not, and because I didn't have much to distract myself with in my day-to-day work, because it was quite a relaxed job where there wasn't a massive workload, I eventually lost myself a little bit. And through the process of therapy, and after countless daily panic attacks, bouts of anxiety, phone calls home to my mum or to my friends, and the rest of the amazing support network around me, I eventually decided that life was too short and that I needed to leave. And while to this day I think it was quite a rash decision, and that is the overall consensus that I've had from a lot of different people around me in my life, because I was earning more than I've ever earned in that role. I didn't do as much work as I did anywhere else that I've ever worked. And I had a good career trajectory ahead of me. I decided to quit. All of that stability, all of that security, to go back to my former employer in the retail world. And so I went back, and within 2 weeks, I realised that this wasn't the same place that I had left. There were new people, left, right and centre, many of which had personalities that I've never had to deal with before. I had managers, the types of which I wasn't used to. And so it became quite a difficult few months for me, trying to adapt to the new ways of working and to try and fit in. I'm sure many of us, when we were children, had a little box with the shapes that go inside each of the holes that are on the side. And you've usually got a star, a circle, a square, a triangle, and obviously they only go into their designated holes. The whole time that I've been back at this former employer, I've felt like a star, trying my best to be forced into a circular hole. and it won't quite fit. That's the best analogy that I can give to my experiences. And although I've got a couple of old colleagues still there, who I get on with fantastically, rebuilding the identity of a former place that I associated with certain people, certain individuals, certain ways of doing things, certain management styles, etc., has been very, very difficult, very, very eye-opening. And it is not the same as it was. My expectations when I went back were good. They were high. And I was hoping that it would be the same, thinking that it would be the same. But it isn't. And that's okay. It's just a different way of doing things. It's a different bunch of people. And I'm learning new things every day about how to deal with these different types of people. And learning every day to be more open-minded to the possibility of change, to the knowledge that things are going to change. And I know that this isn't my long-term plan. It's not my long-term ambition to stay put in my part-time role. But trying to fit back into a part-time role as a normal colleague, as opposed to the supervisor that I once was within the same department, has been extremely difficult. Do I regret the decision to go back? For the sake of my mental health? No. I don't regret it. I was too comfortable at my previous job. I had it too cushy, too easy. I'd just slack off if I felt like I wanted to. My ability to get things done in the moment was determined by how I felt at a moment-to-moment experience and level. And going back into a fast-paced retail environment where you're moving stock, you're speaking to people on a daily basis, you're busy constantly, you're helping people out, you're providing value to some extent. Going back to my former employer has been worthwhile in this case, but I would certainly urge anybody thinking of doing so to consider the reasons why they would want to go back to a former employer if they left to begin with. In my circumstance, it works for me because I am trying to build myself a life around that part-time income, which is paying for my bills. I'm trying to allow myself to grow mentally, to build habits, to stop procrastinating, to build the life that I want. And without that familiar type of work that I just hop back into, it would have been a lot harder to continue to learn a new process, new job, everything else, while I'm trying to build those new habits for myself. So if you're thinking about going back to your new job, your old job even, you've got to consider your own circumstances. For me, it worked. I needed to be physical. I needed to be doing something different every day, and I needed to be getting out the house, building myself a routine and speaking to people. And for those reasons, and those alone, I don't regret it.